Happy Monday, everyone! I'm back in my Wonderland Mini Golf toy box today to continue the build exercise for this, and ironically, I've got Wreck-It Ralph with me, who's notably better at destroying things than building them. But anyway, my goal today is to add all of the buildings and landmarks around the course. We're going to begin here at the start of the course at hole number 1 with the castle. And we're going to line up this first piece, the castle wall overhang, right here on the end of this. I might have to move this a little bit here in a moment. And let me pull up my screen grabs here, because we're going to put these back to back. And again, I'm not quite sure where these need to go. And then we're going to put a couple of towers on here. And the tower I'm going to use, it's not this one. It looks like I got those overhangs at the right height. It's this one. Is that right? Nope, it's not that one either. It's this one. The castle wall and tower number 1. And I want to make sure these are going to line up here. Yeah. So that overhang is at the correct spot, the one on the right. This one will go right here. And we'll put one on either side. And the reason that location is important is so when we flip this piece around, it lines up right on that terrain seam across the front there. So that's really what I'm driving at with that. And so now there's the entrance for our mini golf course. And now we're going to build the castle wall around this. And the pieces we need are kind of scattered around this thing. So we're going to have to scroll a little bit here. We're going to mirror it on either side. So whatever we do on one side, we'll do on the other as well. So we'll put this little corner piece here and another one on this side. And then we're going to put a ladder, because it's kind of fun for the player to get up on the wall. It's actually that piece we need. And we'll put one on either side, like that. And then we're going to use a corner piece. We're going to line this up with that corner, like that. And this is the one I believe we are going to use. Just double checking. Yeah. Okay. And we'll put one on either side, like that. And then we'll put the lighted one in here. If you want to save a little bit of memory, you could reuse this one. That would be fine. And I think I might actually do that. This isn't the piece that I used last time, but I used this one. This tower is a little bit taller. That one's a little bit shorter, so it's up to you which one you want to use. I'll go ahead and use that one since that's what I used last time. And again, we're mirroring this on either side. And then this piece is not so much for the ladder, but just because it's the right width to get the spacing that I need. Put that on either side. And then once again, we're going to use the same corner piece. And that is the same corner. It's got the little window there on the front. Again, we'll mirror this on either side. There we go, making sure that's lined up with the wall there. Alright, and then there's a diagonal piece here. This guy. We're going to put this on either end of this, because I want this to look like it's opening up into the rest of the golf course when you come out through here and you go through hole 1. So that's why we have that there like that. And then Yeah, we got it on either side. And once again, our tower. This is the same one that I'm using on the opposite wall there. We'll use it here as well. And then the inside corner will finish this off. So if you look at this from above, it's kind of a weird looking structure. But from the ground, it actually looks pretty cool. So you come in from this end into the course. You're in here, kind of feels like you're in the castle grounds. And then you head off into the golf course. And as you're moving around the golf course, you're kind of looking back in that direction at the castle. So I really like that. All right, the next feature on hole number 1 is the windmill. That's up under the set pieces. And I'm not sure which way is the faster way to get there. It's probably going to be the other way. That's the way it always works out. Here it is, the New Holland Windmill. We're going to drop that right here on top of those 4 blocks that I had placed there. A lot of good mini golf courses start with a signature piece like that, usually a windmill, so I kind of like that. Feels like a mini golf course when you come into it. And then I've placed a bunch of building pieces over here out of various drawers so that I can use these pieces and not have to scroll too much. So I'm going to pick this piece up first, and we're going to move on to hole number 2 and build the little building at the start of hole 2 where you're hitting the ball through the gap. And there's a hammer swinging back and forth. And we're going to put this over here, actually, on this terrain block, right on that seam, like that. And I believe that's where we want to go. And that's a spacer for right now. This piece is just a little block. That's going to be our tunnel that we hit the ball through. And then we'll scroll over to the left. I'm going to use this narrow base here. Actually, no, sorry. We're going to use this piece. I want the door facing this way, because it would look really weird to have the door facing out on the second floor. So we're going to put 2 of those like that. So there's our tunnel. And by using the same piece, we're actually saving a little bit of memory, so that's good. And then we're going to use this piece here for the roof. Yeah, that's the right piece. And then this one here for the roof on that building. So there's the little building we're going to hit through. And you'll notice I've got the same, about a 1 block space on either side of this. Now we're going to go ahead and pick this piece up and put it back. And we're going to put a second building over here. This is just scenery. And so I'm setting this right up against the terrain block in the back, right on the terrain seam, like that. We'll put this little piece here, put it on the front, and then once again we'll use the straw roof, and it doesn't really matter which one you use. You can use whichever one you like. I actually used this one. Alright, so there are the buildings for hole number 2. Hole number 3 and 4 don't have any, but there are some buildings over here, right behind the end of hole number 4. And once again, We're going to use this smaller piece as a spacer. I'm going to drop this right here like that. Put the door facing out. And we can delete that little spacer. And we'll put another one of these over on this side, on that terrain seam, where it's about 1 block off the end of that. And then we'll add a couple of roofs. Once again, we'll use this one for that roof. And we'll use this one for this roof. Make sure that's square on top of that building. And we have a large Fantasyland chimney, just for a little detail. We'll put that on the back. Alright. So I like that. And then I'm going to come over here and grab this, which gets us to a different part of that same drawer. Save me from having to scroll. We're going to put this about 1 nudge off the end of that, like you see it here. And I'm actually going to flip it this way, is how I had it on mine. We'll flip this one around like that. We'll put this one here like that. And one on the other end. And you'll notice I've only used 2 cobblestone pieces here, this one and the long one. So that saves us a little bit of memory by not using every possible cobblestone piece that's there. And then we need the rope bridge. And this one, again, you can see where all of these are when I pick them up and put them back. This one's in Building Sets Group 1. It's part of the treehouse pieces. And the way we built the terrain, that fits those 2 pieces there pretty well. Alright. And then we've got another house on the end of this straightaway. So once again, let me fast forward here. I'll pick this piece up and put it down. We're actually going to use the piece we used for the second story on hole number 2, which is this one. We're going to place this over here off the end with the door facing out that way. Again, 1 block off, kind of centered on here like that. We'll use the straw top like that. And I like to add these little awnings to the side. It kind of looks like it could be a little stable or something that's on side of the house, so I kind of like that. So there's that little building. Alright, just looking at my screen grab there. We're going to come pick up this piece now and put it down. And we're going to add in the bridge that gets us up to the next hole. So we're going to put this one here like this. And then if you go up to the platforming toys, we have this rope bridge up there. We're going to put that one here like that. And we come now to the hedge maze. So for this, we're going to go to the blocks drawer. And we're going to start with this long block. And this is going to sit back in here like this. And before we go any further, let's go ahead and style this. If we go to the left in the styling menu, we come to the ivy. I'll set that to be my theme. Alright. Now something I want to point out here is that this is actually different on either side. So on this side we have a lighter texture. If I pick that up and we flip it around, you'll notice it's dark on that side. So depending on where the light source is in your sky dome and where the shadows are, it depends on where you want to put the light side of that and the dark side of that. And you'll notice the shadows are on the back side of these blocks with the way that I've oriented my toy box. So to be consistent, you want the dark side of the bush on the back. So I want to point that out. Does it matter? Well, functionally, no. But from a visual viewpoint, yeah, it matters. Because it's going to be really obvious and kind of jarring if you don't put that right. And you'll see this one has the dark, so I want to flip that around. Make sure the light side fits with the toy box here, with the lighting in the toy box. Alright, for the next one, again the light is on this side, so we're going to line this up with that, like you see there. And then 2 more bushes on either side. And you'll note I'm using the longer piece here. I'm trying not to use too many different kinds of blocks because I'm trying to keep the memory usage down. Again, that's really important, especially because I'm using a lot of different building pieces. I'm using the castle, I'm using the Fantasyland buildings, using various set pieces. So yeah, it's important. Alright, so this, for the Mad Hatter's house, this actually needs to sit, out over here about like that. Because if we go up to Building Sets Group 4, and we go pick up the base, which again I'm going to use the timber frame base. We're going to put the door there. We're going to put this up right against the front of the door. And then the arch block, and again the dark side needs to be there, the light side needs to be over there. That piece goes like that for the other side, and this piece goes here. And there's the yard, the grounds for the Mad Tea Party. Alright. Now there's really not too many more building pieces. This is going to be a lot of plant pieces in here. This is going to use pinball pieces, more plant pieces. So the last building piece we're going to put down, there's a set piece for the Small World facade. That's going to go here. And we want to line that up on the back side of that block, that hole, like that. Okay. So there are all the set pieces that we're using. And we're doing pretty good on time. I think we'll go a little bit further. Alright, the next piece are these staircases that are all over the toy box. These are what gets you from hole to hole. And the way I've built the toy box, with all the elevation differences and things, you can use this as kind of a guide to help guide the player where they need to go from hole to hole. And that's going to sit there like that, about the width of the stairs off of there. So that will take them back to hole 1. So every time you finish a hole, you just look for the staircase to take you to the next one. And there are a couple of exceptions to that. Hole number 2 doesn't have an elevation difference between them, so there's no staircase there. There is over here at hole 3, between hole 3 and 4. This one, you're taking the path across here and across the bridge. So this time the stair goes down into the hole. And we want to line this up with the rope bridge over there. And then the next one's going to get you up to that rope bridge. Oops. The next one over here is going to get you up to this hole. This one will take you up to the teleporter. This one gets you from hole 8 to hole 9. This one from hole 9 to hole 10. So there's all the staircases that go everywhere. And then the next thing I'd recommend putting in are the fence pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this up and actually move it. And I've designed the course in such a way that these can fit right in these holes. And so again, we're using terrain to try to block in the hole so the ball can't roll beyond where we want it to go. But there's places where I can't do that. So out here on these bridges, over here when we're in the yard. And so for that we can use picket fences, and that's what I chose to use. There's other fences that you can use if you're using different toy box themes. There's some futuristic ones. There's the picket fence ones here. There's some Fantasyland pieces, farming pieces, a whole wide variety of fences. They're not all in one place, unfortunately, so you have to look around for them, but they're there. And so you're going to use this to enclose the areas where the player would be playing. And we want to make sure the ball doesn't go off the end down into a lower area where it shouldn't go. We don't want it to go off of the lighter green areas onto the darker green areas. So that's what we're using these for. And again, you're going to fill this in, and you don't have to go, once you get to this point, you can stop. You don't have to keep going along here, because that's just a waste of memory. You just want to do the areas that are don't have any other way to block the ball in. So you can see how I'm using these pieces to enclose these areas. And I'm not going to do this whole thing here, but I'm just kind of giving you an idea. When we get to the next video, I'll have all of this in place and I'll show you the end result. But that's how you block in the hole, and then the terrain back here is filling that in. Now for the start of the holes, you don't have to worry about that so much. Keep this open so that the player, when they come in here, they're going to hit the ball in that direction anyway, so the odds are that the ball isn't going to go this way. So you don't really have to worry about that too much. You want to worry about it in the direction that the ball is going. And when you get over here, for a location like this, again, leave this open by the stairs. You can see how that fits in there like that. And then this is going to go over here in front of that house. Again, prevent the ball from going onto the darker green. And actually, I should have put the L on that one. Corner piece. And most of the time, that's going to be sufficient. I would not recommend doing this because then it kind of makes it unclear to the player that they need to go in there. Most of the time the ball isn't going to go that way, although as you saw in the playthrough, it actually did once when Alice hit it and the ball hit it. The hammer hit the ball this way and it bounced off that fence and ended up going down that way. So if that happens, you can head the ball down here and just knock it in the hole to get it removed from the toy box. But that's what we have there. And then again on this side, you'll just frame this in as well. Now when we get to places like this between hole 2 and hole 3, we want a little walkway in between there. But if I leave this open and I do something like that, that leaves the possibility for the ball to go through there, and we don't want to do that. So we have to close this off in that case. But when we put the plants in, we'll make sure there's a clear little corridor there. And we can also use these cobblestone pieces to kind of indicate to the player that that's someplace you should go. And so this would actually sit in here about like that. And help direct the player in that direction. To let them know that's the path to get over to the next hole. So you're going to enclose this whole thing, and again I'll show you all of this, the final result where all these fence pieces go when we get to the next episode. But it looks like we're out of time for today. After I'm done recording, again I'll add in all of the plant clusters and the rest of the picket fences, and next time I'll show you which plants I used and where, and how to customize them. And we'll finish up the build exercise for the toy box. As I said, it's a pretty easy build. Just takes a little bit of time. Until then, I want to thank you for watching and for all of the positive feedback on this series so far. I'm glad you're enjoying it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, just click on my photo in the lower right corner before you go, and make sure your notifications are on, and then you'll never miss an episode. That's all for me today. Take care.